fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Q Show here. And now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Junto. Now, he has made 3 monoclones, or well, 2 different monoclones of himself. Now, one's currently with Lee, heading towards the nation of Prey, to not only hunt some of these species down in the forest that are incredibly active because of the recent activity in the area, but he's also going with her to replant some of the trees that were burned down from the men who kidnapped the Elven Prince. Another version of him stayed behind in the capital to train Tori, Belle, and Ray. And he gave them somewhat of a fair fight. Now, he heavily restricted his own powers, and only used 1 magical attack during it, but he failed. They beat him, and Tori and Ray discovered that Belle and him were somewhat in a relationship. Since the sneak attack they did do, Belle caught him off guard by giving him a kiss. And Dorzaya, yeah. He was going to attack her whenever that happened. After the dust cleared, Tori and Ray saw that. They thought that it was just some clever joke, until Belle refused to pull away. Now, there's also the original, who he's currently in the Elven Library, where he had to basically give away his name, Izuku Midoriya, to enter. And he's been in there trying to research and uncover knowledge that's been forgotten by every other race. Now, he was told by this person that he would get something in return. And, very soon, he will get that gift. Now, with that being said, let us pick up with the original. He's currently been in the library for what can be best described as an entire week. And he is relentless on the search. He's found multiple things talking about demons. And he's even discovered that the last demon invasion was somewhere around 700 years ago. That's insane. Meaning that around 700 years ago, demons entered the region. They are, for sure without a doubt, real. And this much does somewhat disturb him. From what he has read, it took a powerful hero to kill this demon. And the hero, he lost his life to it. So, that much he does know. The area that this hero lost his life in, the area that hero lost his life in, it's said to be just outside of the region that they do have their borders. He is very curious about it, however. If he does go to where this old battlefield is, what can he find? Would there be any remains of the demon? If he can look over some of their anatomy and biology, it could give him something to go off of. He can see exactly how humanoid they are. There's multiple descriptions varying from these books. Some of them are crudely drawn. Some of them look more like humans, some of them look more like elves, and if he does believe the term is correct, a succubus. And, well, he believes there's one thing called an incubus, or a male version of a succubus. He's not really too sure. There's varying things around here. And you do actually have where Laura does walk into the library today. To see that Dorzaya or Junto, he has 3 different books floating in front of him. as he's looking at one page on one, turning it, then looking over at the other one. You're relentless on this, aren't you? Yes, I am. You know, you can't take a break. Not really. Whenever I leave here, I don't know if I'll ever be able to enter again. I'm not an elf, he does say. Going to flip a page, he does look at the book in the middle. You know, you did say you'll get unrestricted access. Yeah, but isn't that a one-time pass? No, I don't think so. Yeah, exactly. So I need to learn everything I can in here, then him turning to his right. Saying that, then he'll leave. Now, she's gonna bring up her hands. Her taking one of the books out of the air and pushing it down onto the table. Listen, I appreciate that you're so concerned about this, but aren't you going a bit too far? Don't humans need to sleep? I have been sleeping. You have? Yes, I have. I get at least, I think, a few hours. I don't really know. Then again, I also do have food. Food? Where do you even? Him reaching into his pocket as he does, pulsing out of his inventory. Holding up a piece of dried venison. Telling her that he's got plenty. How do you even? Trust me. It's less complicated if I don't explain it. Just think of it as I got deep pockets. Okay, I've never heard of that type of magic before. Yeah, it's more of a skill. Now, she does just stare at him, as a monoclone does set down 10 different books in front of Torzaya, and instructing him that he found these books that do at least make mention of demons. Good. What about the other two? Other two? Her looking to her right, to see that there's two different Juntos currently arguing about which books to take over. Since one is talking about how demon is in the title of this one, while the other is explaining that this one at least does cover more on the subject. I didn't expect that you'd be at this for so long. Well, I have been. I kind of have to be. Now, he does go to stand up. Him slamming a book closed as he does sit it to his right. As he would grab one, look at the title, and then open it, to start browsing through it. Now, this would continue to go on, until he actually does flip through it and see something that does intrigue him. Him, jumping up as he does read what's happening. This is talking about the process of becoming a demon. And it's something interesting. What is it? This one here. This book. Where did you find this one? Oh, that one? Well, I found it over there. Him pointing to a shelf that's at least 150 feet away. Now, he does take this book and go to walk over. Him sitting down in the area as he does open it and continue to read. Now, Laura does watch this, as all the other clones do crowd around him, and begin to start pulling books from the area that this was in. Now, Laura does ask if he's come to a discovery, while he does inform her that he does think so. As many of them, after browsing through the books for a few minutes, they do at least slam them down in front of him, and show him what they have found. Now, one of the books here does mention the seed of evil, and how it's a source for corruption. Another one does mention that the process of becoming a demon requires a lot of blood and a lot of sacrifice. Well, another one mentions the fact that you basically have to consume and eat souls. Now, all these books, they're correct. However, they also do counter each other. At the same time as you do have to sacrifice a life and spill blood and collect a soul, it does at least make mention that nothing involves the seed of evil. So, their information is somewhat counterintuitive. Now, the three books he does have in front of him, he does flip through and discover that apparently many different humans who have achieved the rank of demon, or other species who have achieved the rank of demon, as soon as they've done so, they're killed before the process is complete, while only one was able to do it. There's a legendary story. There was a hero, or at least what they believe to be a hero, who he spilled the blood of countless people who were bad. He fought in a war to the point where his sword was so bloody it turned red. And it was said that he grew horns on the battlefield. Now, he did at least want to learn more about this, asking Laura about the story of this legendary warrior. Really? Yes, that story's quite an old one. In fact, I believe that that's a story of, well, the nation you're in charge of. The nation I'm in charge of? A legendary fairy tale? Interesting. However, now, he does ask about this fairy tale, learning that apparently the moment the hero was no longer needed, he was tossed to the side. People viewed him as just a blade. And the moment he turned into a monster doing what they needed him to do, they shunned him. So he one day just ran away from the nations and was never seen again. Midoriya assuming that he went to the land of the demons, just beyond their borders. Now, it's very intriguing. This man, he could have gone on a slaughter, gone on a rampage, but he didn't. So it does show signs he did still maintain his character. Now, it's not very much to go off of, but he does want to look more and more into this fairy tale and discover what he does need. Now, Laura, she would offer to help him, as he does ask for information on everything else, like this fairy tale. I can help you, but I'm not too sure what you can get from these old stories. In old stories, there's often some truth. In fact, no matter how many times it changes, no matter how many times it is butchered, at least one part of it does remain. The same story can be passed down for generations. However, if it's written down the first time it's ever seen, and then people pass it down, they alter details of it. It's like, what? I don't know how to say it. Really, there's not really a good way. It's like, think about it like this. If I told you a country was named something, and if that country wrote down its name the day it was founded, if that country had knowledge lost, if that country had things burned, but one's name remained intact, it was lost to history, and people just renamed it, they wouldn't know. But if this ancient book showing that this country had a name beforehand that people didn't recognize, they would not believe it. Does that make sense? Sort of. I believe there have been cases of that actually in small towns or larger cities. Okay, so you understand. Yes, I do. Perfect. Now, Junto, he's closer and closer every single day. Every single hour, he's getting closer to uncovering exactly what will happen if he turns into a demon. Meanwhile, we will cut over to Ray, or not Ray, Lee, and Dorzaya, who they've already arrived in the Nation of Prey, where Lee, she's put on her weights, and she's actually really surprised. Now, she was informed to fight off some really large creatures. Not only will this help her increase her level, strength, and agility, but it will also make her a lot stronger. Now, he does also pull out the vest, which she was not happy to see. Her putting it on, as this does at least make her a bit slower. And she does feel that, at least, it's manageable this time. Now, he does then go to hand her her second sword, informing her that if she can't use this one, then leave it here. Now, she does go to grab the sword and lift it up. Now, he does see that she does struggle with it some. However, she's at least able to carry both now, as she does go to walk into the forest to fight. Now, Junto does begin what he's been told to do. He does just do one thing, walking over to the barren lands where fires were set, as he does just look around at the ground. As he does go to bring his hands up, and a health potion does pop up in his hand, as he does just think. The resources for these things are quite strange, but he can craft them in his inventory, thanks to his unique skill. I've noticed a few trends. It seems like passive magic like potion making and skill crafting do come in handy. Not only can I make weapons and armor, but it seems like some of these skills do affect opposing skills. I'm curious. If I buy the skill Ironworks, does that mean I'll get better at forging? My gear becomes more durable, my armor becomes stronger. But at the same time, there's also a few things I've seen before. Like blade work magic, or weaver magic. The requirements for that skill I have not met, but if I had to guess, maybe if I level up my craftsmanship and sewing skills I can unlock them. Now, he is wondering about this, as he does want to put a few points into his sewing skill, since it does mean that he can also craft more durable leather items, and their quality would increase. Now, he does just do one thing, as he's thinking about all this, opening the health potion and going to pour it on the ground. Now, you do actually have the land underneath him, which does look like barren and ashy soil, beginning to turn back into lush brown dirt, along with grass beginning to grow back in the area. Now, he does watch that, looking down, him making another health potion, as he does take it and go to toss it outwards in front of him, wanting to see exactly how much of the area it can actually heal. Now, as the potion does break on the ground, he does watch it. At least in a 5x5 area, or 5 foot by 5 foot area, it does heal almost completely. The dirt's brown and seeds are growing in the grass. However, after that area, it does seem a bit hazy, or at least weirdly determined. Him deciding to level up his potion making skills to make better potions, to increase this. Now, we do actually have Lee, who she's currently running through the forest or jogging lightly while holding her weapons. And she's just thinking. She can't disappoint her master. If she does, then, well, he might just drop her. She has to work extra hard, especially with the fact that she has to represent her clan. She might be one of the last one of her species remaining, the last one of her blood. Especially since back in the human nation, their clan had to be very secretive. And if they are revealed or found, many bad things can happen to her people. Now, with that, she does come across a creature, which it does look very aggressive. and she does begin to engage in battle with it. As we do actually have to Isaiah, who after he's thrown a few health potions at the land, he's beginning to see a lot of changes. Along with him going to bend down, grab one of these seeds, and go to imbue it with mana in his fist. As he does then go to throw a fist down at the ground and directly into the dirt. Letting go of the seed as he does pull his fist out and then go to cover the area. Him standing up and backing away. As a small tree does quickly sprout out of the ground. And it does show that it's getting a lot bigger quickly. Now, Midori, he was very impressed. He only imbued it with a small amount of mana, but even then, that looks like about, 5-10 years of growth almost immediately. So this is a pretty good idea then. Now, we do actually have somebody who is watching. And they're very curious. Now, they wanted to know exactly what this man was going to be doing. And it was very impressive. They wanted to approach him already and speak to him. However, he's been dealing with matters urgently every single time. He's been very busy. He literally killed a dragon and solved a filtration problem. Afterwards, he solved a kidnapping of a prince. And now he's trying to replant and fix a forest. And he's already making so much progress that years of it has already been almost cut away. It's very impressive. And, well, they notice that the man's getting more and more peaceful. His war-torn and violent soul does seem to be easing up some. However, he will never admit it. Fact of the matter is, this person, from what they're made aware of, being able to look at him and read his aura, they can tell a few things about him. They can, as the best way to say it would be, see a part of his past in him. The way his energy is around him, the way he does act and move. Spiritually, this boy used to be a pure-hearted soul. However, his experience has shaped him into the way he is now. And they're just wondering, is he really able to justify his own actions? They can understand the harshness and cruelty of the world. But whenever a pure-hearted person like him was driven mad, he still kept some semblance of, a moral compass. He wants to make things right, but he's using violence to get his way. It's very strange. And they're not really even too sure how to approach the subject. Now, the person here, they do go to fly away. As we do have Lee, who, she does hunt through the forest. She's already taken down a few large creatures. And she knows that she may have leveled up already. However, she does also notice that her weights, they do feel a little bit lighter. And her weapons, they do feel somewhat easier to move around with. Now, we do actually have where she does encounter a creature that may be her match, or outmatch her. As she's walking through the area, and looking around. As she does walk through the clearing, she does spot a set of large footprints. And look at these. Her going to bend down as she does lean up against her sword. Her bring her hand out and looking at them. Compared to her hand, these footprints are 5 times larger. And she just think. Master Junto informed her that all she needs to do is say his name in case she is in trouble. And this creature does seem to be around, probably 5-10 times her size? She's lucky that these are old footprints. However, it's bad. I should be alright. she does go to stand, as she does hear a branch break behind her, and somewhere about 75 degrees, or well, let's see, that's 45, so let's say 70 to 77 degrees behind her to the right. And she does go to somewhat look that direction. Now, she tries not to make it obvious, but she can see in her peripheral vision. There's something large there. Well, she can catch a glimpse of at least probably half of it, she thinks. And she does just wonder, as she does go to take a few steps forwards. And she does think about taking off the weights. She can't go against her master, though. This is all part of her training, and it's a bit too extreme. Now, as she does take 10 steps forwards, the creature does move in for the attack on his unsuspecting prey. Now, as she does do this, or this creature does do this, she does go to spin around and go for an attack. The moment she does spin around and turn, she does see a alpha wolf. Or, let's just say something that looks like a wolf. It's a not bipedal, but it's a four-legged creature that does show it has roughened skin. And it does at least have jagged teeth. Along with it does have a tail that looks like it has a sword or blade on the end of it. It's unlike anything she's seen before. As she'd go to block this attack, or at least go to slash at it, this thing did attack her and almost hit her right in the neck. It cutting in the top part of her shoulder and having its blade bounce off of the armored vest she was wearing. Now, as this to happen, you do actually have Junto, who he's already planted various trees, and he's looking around at the land. At this rate, this land will basically be almost back to normal in at least a few years, maybe even months, as he did hear the sound of two blades scraping against one another. Him turning to look over his shoulder. That was Lee. That was different, though. That sound wasn't a creature, that's something attacking. Now, he does go to set down this bag. And he actually has go to look at it. Shit. At this rate, him just thinking. As he does go to throw something. He imbues a large amount of his mana into this bag, at least more than he did with each other tree. As he does then go to grab a potion that he's made, grabbing a large bundle of several with the seeds. Him going to toss them directly over at the ground that's completely bared and torn up. As he does so, he does quickly then turn and run. Now, he would hear these break, as he doesn't hear the tree growing behind him. Him making his way to this location. Now, we do currently have Lee, who she's already blocked this attack from this creature, using her swords, and she's trying to fight against it. Now, she's blocking the bladed tail, as she's also trying to avoid the teeth and move out of the way of this creature. It's very agile and large. Now, the tail would come in for an attack, and she just go to block it, as she doesn't feel things directly stab into her leg. Her wincing in pain as she does look down to see that there was another tail. Now, she does go to try and bring her hand down to grab this thing, and she does want to force it upwards and cut it off. However, the creature it already does pull it backwards as she does go to drop her sword. Now, you do actually have where the creature does then go to rush in. It's going for an attack, as we do actually have where she does look up and go to try and block the attack with her teeth, or block the attack with her sword. This thing, it's large enough that if it does will get her, it's going to swallow up and snap her sword. And then it's going to directly get her shoulder or part of her head and her neck. Now, she is going to open her mouth and scream for her master, as you actually have within the next second, where the thing is already trying to get a hold of her blade in its teeth. as Junto, he's already right there. Him cocking back his hand and punching right into the head of this creature as hard as he can. As its head does explode and the body gets sent flying away, smashing into multiple trees, and splitting through them. Now, as it did happen, we actually have where he does then land on the ground. Damn, that's a new one. Never seen anything like that before. Master? How did you know I was in... I have good hearing, remember? Wait, so you haven't been following me this whole time? No. I knew you'd be in trouble from the very moment I heard that clash. Earlier. However, you held your ground against it. Huh? Yeah. I'm surprised. This thing's almost around your level. And then there's the fact that you're, well, both training, exhausted, and from what I can at least tell, heavily restricted. So, him going to bring his hand up. Him patting her on the head, telling her she did very good work. As she does look at him somewhat confused. Now, her face would turn red. As Junto, he does realize what he's doing. As he does bring his hand up, saying, sorry. No, it's fine, but it's just my leg hurts. Along with my arm. Now, he does go to pull out another potion. Luckily, he has many of these ingredients stored away. So, let's see. I at least have 7 or 8 more of these left. Looks like I have to go collecting soon. Now, he does go to open the potion as he does hand it to her, informing her that this will help her. Now, she does go to drink it and then watches her wounds. They do heal immediately. And all she's left with is a tiny scar. Wow, that's new. I've never seen a potion that can completely heal you. Really? Yeah. Well, many of them, they just at least close wounds up. And even then, it takes time for the skin and flesh to come back. I didn't know you were that good at this now. Oh, well, thanks. Anyways, I believe that we should just continue hunting then. I need to collect some resources for more stuff. And I believe that with creatures like this around, you can at least take off the vest. Now, she does look at her master. She knows that that's somewhat of a lie. And apparently he might just be worried about her. Her smiling a little bit as she was going to bring up her hands and take off this vest. As she was going to hand it to her master, and he does grab it, taking it and putting it into his inventory. As she does feel exactly how much lighter she does feel. Alright, good. Now, if you're going to be battling monsters around your level, him grabbing her swords. Him bending the metal as the heavy weight does drop off of it. As he does then slip this piece off her sword and pick up the metal. Putting both of the pieces on those blades in his inventory and then handing her back her regular blades. Now, she does hold on to these. As the moment she does go to bring her hands up, she feels that these things are light as a feather. Wow. Good. Now, since you're used to how heavy those other blades were, these are nothing. So I believe I can at least teach you how to do a sword slash. Sword slash? Yes. You're a close-range fighter, but this will give you at least a medium to long-range attack. Now, he does bring his hands up, grabbing her hands, informing her that this is what you need to do, going over the process with her. Now, we do currently cut back to the person who was watching Dorzaya, and who was curious about the man, as they're currently sitting in the tree he did plant. And they're looking around. This thing actually turned out to be very large. And if they even did have to say, it's as if it's a different tree entirely. And they do look down at the ground. Almost half of it is completely healed. And they believe that as they do turn around, the other ground, or the rest of the ground, will soon purify. As they do see that a large amount of dirt does remain. Now, they do look over the direction towards Rosiah, as they're able to see clear over the tree line. The tree that they're sitting in is over 200 feet tall, and it's very large and bulky. However, they do believe that this is at least a good monument to the area being rejuvenated. So, they'll allow us to remain here. Now, with that being said, they do go to take flight, and they do want to leave the rest to him. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.